Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Weekly Academics, and you're listening to Faiza Inamdar. So today is the last and the fifth podcast of the third chapter, that is the early nationalists. And as I said, in this we'll be studying the contributions of Gopal, Krishna, Gokhale. In the earlier podcasts, as you've listened to them, you know that we've studied contributions of Dadabhai Naoroji and Surendranath Banerjee. And in a similar pattern, in this podcast today, we're going to study the contributions of Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Now, as I said in the last podcast, yes, at the end of this podcast, I'll be giving you a small tip to get a quick recap of the contributions of all these three eminent personalities. But that will be at the end of the podcast. Before that, let's begin with the contributions of Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Just to give you a background of Gopal Krishna Gokhale, he was, as we've seen in the other two also, there were other names given to them. So Gopal Krishna Gokhale was known as the political guru of Gandhi. So he's worked in very close collaboration with Mahatma Gandhi. And that is why Mahatma Gandhi was someone who followed Gopal Krishna Gokhale. So Gopal Krishna Gokhale is the political guru of Gandhi. And in 1912, he'd been to South Africa where Gandhi had invited him because he needed help. And bringing Mahatma Gandhi back into India, the credit goes to Gopal Krishna Gokhale. So let's get a quick background of him. So he was born in 1866 in Kolhapur in Maharashtra. And he graduated from Elphinstone College, Mumbai in 1884. Later on, at the very young age of 20 years, he started as a professor of history and economics in the very famous Fergusson College of Pune. And that's just a quick background. In 1904, he was also awarded the title of Companion of the Indian Empire. He was awarded that title. And with all this, you might now understand how important a person and how influential a person he was. So let's look into his contributions. Number one, the establishment of Servants of India Society. So in 1905, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, or I'll just refer to him as Gokhale, he established the Servants of India Society. So this society was created to train the men to devote their lives to the cause of the country, to serve the country. And the members of the society were required to create a deep and passionate love for their motherland, create among the entire country a passionate love for the motherland among the common people. And to give major headings, the society worked for education of women, the elevation of depressed class, etc. That were the two major headings that they worked under. But otherwise also they worked generally for social causes and to increase the feeling of nationalism among the members of the country, among the citizens of the country. Okay, that was number one, the establishment of Servants of India Society. Moving on to the next one is his contributions towards the Indian National Congress. So yes, Gopal Krishna Gokhale is another founder member, foremost member among the Congress leaders. As a member of Congress, he has presided over the Varanasi session, Banaras as we call it today, the Varanasi session of Congress in 1905. And yes, because we count him into the early nationalists, yes, he was the one with moderate views who preferred non-violence and constitutional methods. So he urged that, and I quote, that the goal of Congress should be the attainment of form of government similar to that which existed in the self-governing colonies of the British Empire, unquote. So if you read through this statement and listen to the statement very carefully, you'll understand that it kind of reiterates one of the constitutional objectives that the INC had in the early phase. That was the establishment of a colonial form of self-government. So all these early nationalists, they did not really want complete independence. They wanted a colonial form of self-government because, again, one of their characteristics was that they appreciated the goods of British rule and they had unlimited faith in the British sense of justice. So that's where this comes from. And he urged the people that the goal should be the attainment of a form of government similar to the ones that existed in the self-governing colonies of British Empire, like Australia. Okay, so that was his contributions towards the INC. That is, he presided over the 1905 session and the goal that he urged them to follow. Moving on to his contributions towards press and literature. So Gopal Krishna Gokhale, he edited the Sudharak, which was a quarterly journal of Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. He edited the Sudharak. So as an editor, he could also express his views and communicate to the general public also. Okay, that's his contribution towards press and literature. Now moving on to certain other facets of his contribution. He was another one to believe in constitutional means to achieve their goals, like Surendranath Banerjee, like Dadabhai Naoroji. When we count him into the early nationalists, he was someone who believed in constitutional means. At the same time, he also supported Swadeshi movement, and he believed that Swadeshi was not just a patriotic movement but also an economic movement, because as we'll study forward, Swadeshi meant to use and manufacture Indian goods, use only that is made within your country, okay, locally produced goods. So that is kind of a patriotic emotion also, and an economic movement also. So he made a strong plea for the reform of legislative councils also, along with supporting Swadeshi movement and being someone who agitates through constitutional means. He urged for reforms in the legislative council and the separation of judiciary and executive. Again, these are some objectives of INC in the early phase when we've studied those in the earlier parts of the chapter. Okay, so to get a clearer idea, I suggest you listen to the first podcast of this chapter, which deals with the objectives of the INC in the early phase. It will be much clearer. So that was his way of his method to follow constitutional means. Moving on to the next one was how he, or rather his arousal of national awakening. So in 1902, Gokhale became a member of the Imperial Legislative Council, and through his speeches in the council, he pleaded for the reduction in salt duty, abolition of excessive duty on cotton goods. Okay, so that's what he used his post in the Imperial Legislative Council for. In 1910 and 1912, he moved resolutions in the Imperial Legislative Council. So he got elected, he became a member in 1902, and he moved resolutions in 1910 and 1912, which were related to the relief of the Indian bonded laborers in Natal. So another social cause that he worked for. So number one was salt duty, cotton duties. Then there is the Indian bonded laborers in Natal. Also, through his budget speeches, he pleaded for free primary education for all children, and he believed that Indians should get a larger share in the Indian civil services. So that's what he used his post in the Imperial Legislative Council for. That's another contribution. Moving on to his last and final one, his economic ideas. So Gokhale was deeply pained. He was really shaken by the misery of the Indian peasants, and therefore he pleaded for the reduction of land revenue. He also favored state protection to infant Indian industries, the ones that are coming up. He favored that the state should protect the new upcoming industries. And he also called for more employment for the members of the educated class. So three things he pleaded for: reduction of land revenue, state protection for infant Indian industries, and employment of the members, higher employment for members of educated class. So that is the contributions of Gopal Krishna Gokhale as a whole. A quick recap is number one was Servant of India Society, number two the Varanasi session of 1905, number three contributions towards press literature, the Sudharak, being the editor of Sudharak, number four his support for Swadeshi and he pleading for reforms in legislative council and separation of judiciary and executive, number five he being the member of Imperial Legislative Council and working for the reduction of salt duty on cotton goods, and also for other social causes, and he urged for primary education for children also. And the last one is that he pleaded for the reduction of land revenue, state protection to infant industries, and higher employment for the educated middle class. Okay, so that's contributions of Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Now, coming down to what I said, I'll be giving a special tip in this podcast to do a quick recap of the contributions of these three people. The best way to do this is to create a chart on your own. So if you feel free, you type it, but I say you write it down with your hands, use different colors, use different ways, decorate it so that you want to read it again and again. And when I say make a chart, this has to be a very organized chart. So yes, I am giving you the the organization of the chart. So it should be like you make one side where you write the names, and then you make a table, and you put the headings like contribution to, or you could just put the headings like organization, because all these three people have been founders of certain organizations. So you put organizations, and in that section you write when the organization was founded and what was the aim of that organization. Another thing that you do, the second column becomes the contributions towards the Indian National Congress. So someone convened the conference, someone presided over certain sessions, or like Gopal, Krishna, Gokhale urged for certain goals. So you put that in the contributions towards the INC section. Then make a third section for contribution towards press and literature. So like Gopal Krishna Gokhale was editor of Sudharak. Earlier we've seen that Dadabhai Naoroji and Surendranath Banerjee had also given contributions like drain theory, or Surendranath Banerjee was someone who wrote A Nation in Making. So you can put all these things in the section of contributions towards press and literature. That's your third section. Now you've created 3 sections already. So if you're good with these 3 sections, it means you already got 3 points to write in your answer. Sometimes the questions are of 4 marks, right? So we have a 4th column also, which will be headed as others, because there are other contributions like supporting Swadeshi, or like in Gopal Krishna Gokhale urging for the reduction of land revenue, or getting elected to the Imperial Legislative Council, or in Surendranath Banerjee he got elected to the Calcutta Corporation. Likewise, there are other contributions also. Okay, so like Dadabhai Naoroji, you can put others. He does not really have the other section for him. Dadabhai Naoroji fits in the first 3 actually, but for the other 2 you can create an others column, which gives you 4 over there. And even Dadabhai Naoroji, if you see, the INC part has 2, so you get 4 points over there also. So likewise, you create a chart which has 5 columns. One of the names, second of contributions towards making organizations, third column becomes INC, fourth is literature and press, and fifth is the others section. And you fill it. Go through your textbook, go through the podcast, listen to them, go through the slides of the podcast, and you can fill those very easily. So whenever you have to revise this part of the chapter, it's very easy. This chart will be equivalent to combining 3 podcasts that I have made. Okay, it is equivalent to combining a major part of this chapter, almost half of this chapter. Okay, so I hope it's very clear, and I hope this tip helps you. I'm sure it will help you because it helped me. So until then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics, and we are finally done with the 3rd chapter, and the next one will be beginning with the 4th one. Until then, if you want to listen to something relaxing, smooth, soothing, calm and peaceful and beautiful, you can listen to Your Life in My Voice by Dr. Sabiha, all available on YouTube. And until then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics. Do like the video, like the podcast, share it with your friends, and subscribe the YouTube channel Faiza Inamdar for continuous updates. And all my podcasts are available in YouTube. Also, if you have any feedbacks, comments, or any doubts, you can feel free to put it down in the comments section, or DM me at weekly.academics. That's my Instagram handle. If you want me to make content on some specific chapters, you can also put that down in the comment section or DM me. Until then, you're listening to Faiza Inamdar at Weekly Academics. I'll get back to you soon, and we'll begin the next chapter. And till then, stay home, stay safe, be healthy. Bye-bye.